This is insanely last minute. I have to edit this in, but this is a spoiler review of Wonka. So if you don't want spoilers, then don't watch the video. Or you can watch it. Just watch the movie first. Or maybe you don't care about spoilers, in which case, hope you enjoy the podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Metabolism Man. Welcome back. It's been a little bit. I of course am Jamin.
I'm Hayden.
And today is a Connorless episode, but not for
like, who cares, you know?
who cares? No, not it's different than the other ones. It's not because he's not available, it's just because for this episode, there wasn't much for him to add, and you'll see. Excuse me, you'll see what I'm talking about a little later. But sorry, hold on. Let me.
Hey, man.
So yeah, basically, first of all, Hayden, how's your week been?
It's been great. Went to go see.
Not yet. Just tell me how your week was. It was good.
All right. Well, I mean, that's what I did this week, but yeah, it was pretty good. Had a fire week. Every week's fire, though. You know.
Okay. Well, that's a very honest answer.
Yeah.
So basically,
How about you?
it was okay. I don't even remember, honestly. It's all been the same.
You just forget every day.
Yeah, honestly. But I've been alive. I've been both alive and kicking, so that's one thing. So basically this episode, I had kind of in my head that I wanted to perhaps do this. Today's episode won't be talking about, most of it won't be talking about an actual food or anything. As some of you may know, the Wonka movie released in theaters recently, and technically the movie is kind of food-ish related. Chocolate is a food, I would say. And
Debatable. I'm just kidding. Obviously, it's a food.
So I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
Some would say, yeah. And so one of the podcast viewers, said, "Hey, maybe you guys should make an episode about the Wonka movie." And so I had already watched it at the time. I thought, like it was really good. But I was just kind of like, that's a good idea, but I don't know if the other guys are going to be interested or not. So I'll leave it on like the back burner, whatever. And then Hayden saw it a little bit after me, and he like was raving about it. Like his Instagram story, he was posting like whole reviews of it and stuff, and he never does that. So I was
I
just
did
like,
that for Barbie, but that's because you did that. I was like, okay.
yeah, well, I always do
I'll
that.
post my review too.
But I was just like, wow, this dude really, really likes it. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe this could be a really interesting episode. And then you did something else Wonka related that I thought would be even cooler to talk about as well. And we'll get to that a little later. But thank you for this idea, viewer. I don't want to dox you or anything, but thank you for the idea. You are almost entirely directly responsible for this episode happening. So if it flops, it's your fault. No, so
I'm not responsible.
um, so yeah, I mean, since we're talking about Wonka and Wonka's all about chocolate and stuff, I thought I would have some chocolate of my own. I got some none of these are Wonka candies, but Hayden, do you have any chocolate of your own? I'm not.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I actually have right here some chocolate peanut butter milk, which is kind of crazy. I don't know how many of you have seen this, but
that's nuts.
It's fire. And this isn't chocolate and it's not even food, but I figured we're talking about candy, so why not? When I was in Connecticut, I went to the Pez headquarters and toured it, and I got this like Pez lanyard. So I mean, hey, look at that. That's pretty cool, right?
That is pretty cool.
That's candy related. and I'm not eating that, but
Yeah, I'd probably advise that you don't eat that.
yeah.
So, I mean, let's get started with this. Talking about this movie. So overall, Willy Wonka is a character that's existed for a hot minute now.
Yeah.
They had the first movie with Gene Wilder, became an instant classic. Um, I would
I just
assume.
learned he's dead the other just like the other
Really,
day.
you didn't know
I
he
just
was
learned
dead?
he's dead. Like I saw like a picture of him online, and I was like, it was like an article. Where are they now? So I thought that article was. I'm like, dang, this dude look mad old. And
Yeah,
then I learned. Wait, I saw like a comment and like a YouTube video that was like 7 years ago. And it was like Rip Gene Wilder. I'm like, oh my gosh,
he died 7 years ago. Wow.
yeah.
Did he? I don't. I hold on.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
No,
But
I
no,
got you.
but
2016. Yeah. Wow.
yeah, I looked at like before too, and it was
That's
like, yeah,
insane.
I'm like, dang. I'm like, rip his eye.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't care, but
Yeah.
funny.
Well, yeah, so there was that movie. Obviously became an instant classic, I assume. I wasn't there, but considering how everyone talks about it, obviously I wasn't born for like another 40 something years, later. But um people enjoyed it. Not 40 years, 30 years, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah, 32 years.
and then about 30 something years later, they released another one called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It was basically a remake, but starring Johnny Depp. I forgot his name for a second, starring Johnny
Yeah,
Depp.
I did.
And I think that one was more focused on Charlie since it was named after him, of course.
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, it wasn't really a remake. It was just like a different take on the same story.
That's a remake.
Well, I thought, well, like by remake, like I thought,
I mean, put it. They were both adaptations of the book. I should mention. So,
yeah, okay.
okay.
Like it
In that
wasn't a
sense,
remake of the
yeah,
first movie, but yeah, it
that's
was just a
true.
different. Yeah, yeah.
That's true. I get what you're
Anyway, it
saying
doesn't matter.
now. Um, and then now a lot of people are confused. They think this is another remake or whatever, but it's not. It's actually a prequel. It's an origin story.
Which I didn't know, like going in. Like I only learned that after the fact. So I went in to
Completely
this thinking it
blind.
was just
Yeah.
like completely, yeah.
Yeah, so origin story to Willy Wonka. Apparently it's canon to the original movie, which I didn't know until
That's
recently.
crazy.
Um, but and so obviously when most things get announced saying, "Oh, we're going to be remaking this or that," a lot of people that grew up with a specific version, they're, pretty skeptical. And then once Timothy Chalamet was announced, I remember there were some mixed reviews because prior to that he wasn't in anything whimsical like that. He was just kind of in like really gritty
Like serious stuff, yeah.
like A24 films. And so
Right. And
um
he was on SNL one time too, I
he
think.
was on SNL, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just people were just kind of confused, but according to him, he grew up doing like theater and stuff, and he grew up watching he said he grew up watching the Gene Kelly movies. I don't know if you know who Gene Kelly is, but he's an actor from all the way, probably even before your parents were born. But they probably know who he is. I would imagine he was, he was really big back then, and he did a lot of similar movies and stuff, and so he thought he would take a crack at. I mean, as an actor, I'm not an actor, but well, I do have a short film, but I'm not an actor. I I'm sure as an actor for him, he wanted to do something that would kind of push his, limits and stuff. And so, hey, I um I personally think no matter what objectively you may think of a movie, sometimes people are always going to be blinded by nostalgia.
Yeah.
I'm thankfully one of those people that generally see things for how they are, but especially for a character like Willy Wonka, that I really don't take seriously at all because he makes chocolate and he dances with a bunch of orange men and he sings little songs. I'm not gonna like I've seen people have like arguments and say, "Oh, this is a disgrace to the original Wonka movies," and and they try to have these conversations and compare Gene and Johnny and Timothy like they're Spider-Man actors,
But
like
but I
they're
bet
Batman
but I bet
actors.
well having a crossover like between all three Willy Wonka's
Well,
you
it's
it
probably
would be kind of
impossible.
crazy.
But
But
I personally I think it's really stupid to have those conversations about Willy Wonka. Like he's just a silly little guy that makes chocolate. I'm not
right.
gonna waste time talking to him like he's who's the best Batman? There's no comic accuracy to go off of. Like I'm not if you're actually having conversations about Willy Wonka, like, oh well, that one he broke his no kill policy, like how people talk about Affleck's Batman and stuff. Like, we're not doing that. Just go home and touch
Yeah.
grass. Like, it's so stupid. But going into the actual this movie, um, it's a musical. I'm not the biggest fan of musicals. Um, but it's just like, a good musical is a good musical, like objectively. And so I was interested in it. And so I saw it with my family members last week, today, actually. Um, and I got out of it. I was like, wow, this was actually really good. But I knew it would be good. You know why? Because Paul King is the director and he made both Paddington movies as Hayden Jugs chocolate milk. I almost said as Hayden drugs.
I'm gonna be
No.
doing that a lot more.
Yeah. Nah, so he Paul King made both Paddington movies and both were really good. Unfortunately, he's not coming back for Paddington 3, but I will still be seated because those two Paddington movies were peak cinema. I think Paddington 2 for a little bit was actually like the highest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes ever for like a good,
Why is he not making Paddington 3?
maybe
Like
because he was making Wonka. I don't know. Like he just couldn't come back for it, I would imagine. So but I really enjoyed this movie. I think I gave it about an 8.5 out of 10. Maybe I will say about an 8.5 out of 10. I think first talking about Timothy, his performance
mhm.
when the trailers released, I was kind of
Me too.
skeptical.
I
I'm
was
not
gonna
gonna
use that
lie.
word too. Yeah, I
Because
was
I
kind
was
of
just like
sure.
I didn't feel like he was giving the right amount of energy. Like he was trying, but I don't feel like it was working for him. And some people just aren't funny actors. Um,
I
I'll
thought it was gonna be like corny.
I'll give you an example. Chadwick Boseman, great actor, amazing actor. When he was on SNL, he just respectfully wasn't good. So it's just like some actors just aren't good at comedic or really lighthearted and silly stuff. Fortunately, the trailers fooled me because I thought Timothy did a really good job. I know Willy Wonka purists are going to say, "Oh, Gene Kelly, Johnny Depp is better," blah blah blah, and that's fine. I don't care.
He said
Because it's Willy
Gene
Wonka.
Kelly.
Excuse me, Gene Wild. Just
Gene Kelly's
too
a
many
better
genes.
Willy Wonka.
Too many genes. And but I will say, as I was watching the movie, there were moments where I'm just like, I'm not feeling his performance, but like it feels like he got better as the movie went on. Like his
Like
acting
which
it got better.
parts?
Literally, when it first started, I'm just like, okay, well, he doesn't
Oh,
have.
your first impressions were like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was just like, well, he's not bad. It's just like but
You
like
didn't
it
give him a chance.
literally like
Yeah,
it got better as it went on.
yeah.
Um, and so I'm just like, you know what?
Because he got used to it, and he was like, okay,
He sold me, you know. And I
yeah.
feel like people were expecting the Johnny Depp version where he was borderline evil, if we're being real. You see these kids just
Yeah,
going through these horrific things. He's just like, well, moving on.
Johnny Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka was easily the most trouble, like emotionally troubled one. Like he was just like he had the most going on. Like it's weird. It's interesting because like Gene Wilder's and Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka, like obviously like kind of played off of like the book, and like they understood that like Willy Wonka was this character with like this troubled like past, and like he's like a troubled character. Like he's generous and he's like a nice character, but he's got stuff going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of people might have, like an issue a lot of people might have with this, with Timothy's depiction of Willy Wonka. This new one is like his, like he's mostly kind of like really joyful and like happy, and like there's no like whimsical, and he
Can
doesn't
I
really
interrupt
display.
one thing?
Yeah,
This is a spoiler review. So if you don't want spoilers, then don't watch this episode until after you've seen it. Continue.
Maybe you could.
I'm gonna add it. Yeah.
Like at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Um. And so yeah, like he's like throughout most of the like, well, pretty much the whole movie, he's like that, and like he has his moments where like obviously he's like reflecting on like his mom and stuff, or like he's like but for the most part, like he's pretty much just, and I think they did it on purpose because this whole movie is about like Wonka and like the beginning of his career as like he's just starting out, and so he's not really like he's still kind of like really optimistic and still like he hasn't really experienced like too much of life. This movie was kind of like part of that, like of him experiencing that. But yeah, like Jamin said, I thought his depiction of Wonka was great. I actually thought it was going to be corny going in, and I actually wasn't even going to see the movie because I'm a big fan of the original two movies. But I went to go see it with my family because my mom really wanted to go see it because she's also a big fan of Willy Wonka and stuff. And I'm like, okay, because like they were gonna go see it, so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll see it, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah,
it's crazy like some things people can miss out on just by like judging the book by its cover. I guess I'm a victim of that. And it was like that with Barbie, bro. Like
it really was. Because but you know what though? I think the difference is that it was the trailer's fault for not
100%, dude. 100%.
The movie to be as deep as it was.
For both movies, trailer did not do justice. Like, I literally went into that theater like just going to see it as a joke. I did
too.
Like, crazy, man. Like,
no, dude, like Barbie is in my top 5 movies of the year, and then Wonka's I think number 6. I would say.
Yeah.
But okay, so we talked about Timothy and stuff like that. He did a pretty good job. In terms of his musical performance, I am not a music critic. I'm not a vocal coach.
Yeah, disclaimer: we're not music critics. We're not
even movie critics. We talk about food. I thought he did good enough for someone who was starring in a musical. Like if he was someone who was putting out his own music, just like that, I wouldn't listen to it because his voice wasn't that good. But
if it was like standalone
or a musical. Now it's interesting. He's playing. I think he's playing Bob Dylan. Let me see. I think he's playing Bob Dylan, in a movie. Yeah, he's playing Bob Dylan in a movie. So he's gonna have to learn how to sing in a completely different style now. So that would be interesting. But so I thought the music was good. My favorite song from that movie is most definitely, it's called For a Moment. It's that scene where they were milking
with the giraffe and stuff.
Dude, that was actually the turning point of the movie, because before I was just like, okay, it's good, but
what about that like whole sequence like really changed it for you and was like, okay,
it was just as I was watching, I felt,
now you're holding on to your seat.
I guess I kind of felt, what it was up until that scene. I guess maybe it was like 30 minutes in or something, that I was thinking, I'm just like, it seems like I've seen this style of movie before, and I have, because Paddington is still kind of in that style. But it feels like instead of trying to branch off to do something else, it was stuck in the Paddington kind of area. And which, again, obviously I just said, I love the Paddington movies, but what works for a movie about a talking bear may not work for a movie about a 20-something-year-old dude who's trying to sell chocolate. So once that took off, once I saw that scene, and he's dancing around with Noodle, who was a character in the movie. It's a little girl. Her name is likely not actually Noodle, but that's just the name that
was the name that she was given. Well, she doesn't have. I mean, I don't even think she has a name, because
that was probably the one thing I wish they would reveal. So, oh, your name is Nia or something like that. But they're just gonna keep calling her Noodle, I guess. So yeah, once they're up on I think he's using like an umbrella or something to just like fly around and just think, and
Balloons.
they're doing noodle noodle app. That
Yeah.
was I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel it. I started to feel like the magic, I guess,
My mom
of
said
the
that was like something that like bothered us in terms of something that's unrealistic was like the fact that they were using balloons to fly around. I'm like, oh, okay. Like that was unrealistic, but the fact that Wonka was pulling like stuff out of his hat,
yeah.
like teapots and bunny rabbits and stuff out of his hat was not unrealistic.
He
Okay.
clearly
Um
has some sort of superpower.
yeah.
There's some spooky going
What
on underneath
superhero has
this
the
whole
ability
thing.
to just like pull things out of thin air like that?
Well, that would be like matter manipulation, in which case,
A Mad Hatter.
I'm
He's
sure
not a superhero though.
some. I mean, Alien X probably could
Yeah, okay.
just do like that.
So Willy Wonka's
Um,
like Alien X from then.
he's Alien X, yeah.
So anyway,
No, but like
uh,
that was a turning point of the movie for me, where I was
that's
just seeing
interesting that
it,
you say that.
and I was just like, okay, you know what? And then everything else after that, all of the music and stuff started to hit. And I mean, how did you feel overall about the music? Would you say?
Well, like I said, I thought it was great. I thought his performance was really good. My favorite song is the first one in the movie, which
Really?
was "A Hat Full of Dreams." I really and that one hit like when I was listening to it after the movie ended.
Mm-hmm.
So like everything said and done, like it really sums up like the movie. Like the first one they play, uh, I thought music and performance was great. I thought all the songs were great. Personally, I don't think there was a single miss. And
Did you think in that scene with the giraffe when Noodle started singing? Did you think for a split second that the giraffe was gonna start singing too?
no,
For a
why did
split
you think
second,
so?
because it kept zooming in on the giraffe, and I'm
They
just
kept
like,
panning over to the giraffe, like
I'm not
he's
gonna
gonna,
lie,
and it fakes you out. He goes,
if the giraffe started singing, I was probably gonna lower the score. I'm just like, it's not that kind
yeah,
of
like come
movie.
on, okay, talking animals, like
Yeah, no. That's where
I'll
I
take
draw
an
the
Oompa
line.
Loompa, but like not a giraffe, dude.
So yeah, I was actually gonna say, going into since you said the whole thing about the Oompa Loompa, I wanted to get into some of the other characters and cast members. Now that we've
Yeah.
addressed the movie, Timothy's performance, and then also the music, we have Hugh Grant as an Oompa Loompa.
Mhm.
What a casting! I don't know whose idea it was to get Hugh Grant as an Oompa Loompa, but it worked enough, I would say.
Apparently, he
Um,
hated it though.
Apparently, well, I would say probably because of all the
Well,
motion
because of the
capture and stuff.
motion, yeah, the motion capture, yeah.
How old is Hugh Grant? He's like 63. He's too old to be doing
I've
motion
seen quotes
capture and
like him
stuff.
saying that, like specifically, like in
The
terms of the motion
motion,
capture, like
yeah,
that's why he hated, yeah.
that man is too old to be
But he
out
said he
there
needed a
doing
job, bro. That dude's desperate, bro. He's like,
it. Hey, man.
I'll be an Oompa Loompa, whatever.
Um, then we had so Sally Hawkins actually played Willie's mom, and I knew her from the first two Paddington movies. She plays not Paddington's mom, but she plays the mom of the family that adopts Paddington, essentially.
Mm.
And I
That
thought
was
she
probably a
was,
cool reference for you. Like I didn't watch the Paddington movies,
yeah.
so I didn't know that. But
No, I thought it was cool. You know, every director has that one actor or actress that they just love, working with.
yeah,
Christopher Nolan loves working with that old guy. I forgot his name. Uh
yeah,
he
I don't care.
he was Alfred in the Dark Knight movies. Uh Michael Caine. Yeah, I think Michael Caine has been in quite a few Christopher Nolan movies. Yeah, he was in Interstellar and obviously the whole trilogy and stuff like that. And then there's other people, and he was in Inception. So yeah. Uh, I don't know what Hayden's doing. Is he drinking milk off camera or
I
yeah,
just don't want to do on camera just in case
looks like it.
it makes anybody uncomfortable.
um so Hugh Grant's Oompa Loompa was pretty interesting, and Sally Hawkins gave a good emotional performance as Willie's mom. Her name,
Mm-hmm.
what was her name? She never had a name.
Who knows?
Interesting. So I will say the characters I were not, were not, whatever. The
Not
characters
satisfied
that
with.
I wasn't really feeling I guess that was supposed to be the case. The two hotel managers, I didn't really like them, and I guess that was kind of the
Oh
like
well.
the
Oh
point.
really? You didn't like unironically? You didn't
I
like
didn't like them
them at all?
unironically or ironically. I'm just kind of just like, okay, I've had enough. I didn't think they were funny necessarily. It was just kind of it was the same old like I feel like they were trying to go for the what's the fairy tale?
I actually liked
I don't know, but yeah.
them because they did a really good job at making them unlikable characters.
Yeah, I mean,
So I'm like,
yeah, I'm not
okay, like
saying
I
that
mean,
they did poorly. It's just I didn't necessarily like their characters necessarily. Um, so yeah, they were played by Olivia
what
Colman and Tom Davis.
what did you think about the worker, like the people that ended up helping out Willy Wonka later, like the
So yeah,
workers?
that was a charming cast. That was a charming
Yeah.
cast. I mean,
So let's go through. So what did you think about like each character?
I don't have enough thoughts for each
I was
character.
about to say
I
they
just
each
thought they were
individually
good.
didn't like show up. They didn't
Just
have like enough screen time like
yeah,
for to individually judge them.
I
I
thought they
think the
were
one
just
that
good.
had the most screen time actually was uh the financial dude like went around and like helped people with their like the dude with the glasses, you know. You don't know what I'm talking about?
No,
He was like had like a thick accent.
all of them did.
That's true. The one with the accent, like they all had accents.
Was he
I don't know
old? Was he?
the dude who like gave them the information they needed to find that green book in the
Oh yeah,
that
okay.
guy, yeah.
Yes, I know what you're talking about
He had
now.
the most like screen time, I think. Just I think that was one of the reasons. I don't know. I liked all of
Yeah.
them.
Now I do have to talk about I think I'm pronouncing her name right. Actually, before I talk about her, I will say one of the standout side characters was definitely Keegan Michael Key
Oh yeah,
as
100%.
the police chief
I
for
didn't
sure.
even know he was in the movie until he showed up, and I was like,
Well,
yes.
that was my thing, like with Rowan Atkinson as the priest, because like he was
Oh,
in
the
the
same
movie,
thing. Yeah, I didn't know
and I
he
was
was.
just
Yeah,
like,
I'm like,
I
let's
for like
go.
I had known ahead of time because I saw the trailer, but then I remembered I completely forgot about it once I actually saw it, and I'm just
And I
like,
love that they
he's
made
there.
him like. I love that they made him like the 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 clergyman, bro. That was awesome.
Yeah,
And I love that they showed him back to back too, like Keegan Michael Key and him playing the like back to back. That was awesome because
yeah.
I didn't put either of them right.
So yes, I do have to talk about probably the standout of the movie. Obviously, Timothy, we kind of, I mean, he's like an at least a B-list actor, so I can't say he was a standout of the movie necessarily because I would like expect them to do a good job. But the one who kind of just flew under the radar but did a great job, I would say was I think it's Kayla Lane. She played Noodle. Um,
Yeah,
really stand out, nice voice, and she's one of those. I mean, let's see, how much stuff has she been in prior to this? She was in one episode of the NBC series This Is Us, one episode of the Netflix series Family Reunion, and two episodes of a Disney Junior show called Firebuds. So clearly she
she's
has
on
a
Disney.
well, Disney
Doing
Junior.
big things. Disney Junior.
It was an animated like a voice role. I never even heard of that show, which is rare because like I know like every animated show, um but I say all this to say that clearly this is her first major role. And so I think she'll definitely get a bunch of roles after this, especially if they're singing related. Because she did a good job. Um and yeah, I look forward to seeing what else she's in the future. But overall, man, I did really enjoy this movie. It's in my top six favorite movies of the year. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
think I would enjoy it as much as I did. I knew I would like it. I never had a doubt in my mind that I would like it. But I did really enjoy it, and it's one of those just whimsical, wholesome movies that you watch and you feel great after it. They
It's
made
a really good like feel good movie.
it is. That's the exact
And
thing.
I liked
Yeah.
how they gave every character a closure. Like it ended really nicely. It was really well rounded. And one of my favorite scenes was the scene at the end where Wonka opens up the chocolate bar that his mom gave him, and like before that, he was like, I wish I had more,
Yeah.
because he got for his mom. He's like, I wish I had more of it. But then he read the message she left him, and it was like, it's not about chocolate. It's about who you share.
God, this about power. We stay hungry.
Yeah. Imagine The Rock makes an appearance.
Oh man. The Rock as an
So
Oompa Loompa would have went hard. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
I think Dwayne Johnson's
the Rock as Willy Wonka.
his ego is far too big to play a Willy Wonka or to
To play
play
an Oompa Loompa, yeah.
an Oompa Loompa,
There's no
but
way he would agree.
um
But I think and also he'd have to have like hair. Um so like most roles he plays, he doesn't really have hair. So I don't know.
yeah.
Uh
That's probably due to the fact that Dwayne Johnson himself does not in fact have hair.
that could be the case.
Could be the case.
I haven't quite still figured that out yet.
Maui from Moana had hair.
True. So yeah, that scene was really wholesome at the end. And then he like shared it with all his friends who helped him all the way. And like everybody lived happily ever after, so that was cool. And then Noodle got to see her mom, and that was kind of like double closure for her, and then also for Wonka because he never got to reunite with his mom, obviously, because she
That's a good point.
died.
Yeah.
So that was like really cool.
Oh, you know what I do want to talk about, and I'll cut this out if you don't want to talk about this. But you mentioned there were two scenes in the movie that made you tear up, and so I'm curious. I
Oh
forgot.
yeah,
I
yeah. I'll
forgot
talk. Yeah, I'll
which.
talk about that.
I forgot which scenes there were.
Yeah, I'll
Um.
talk about that. I actually
Yeah.
was gonna mention it, but I didn't know if we had like time or not. But like, yeah, I actually did like tear up at one scene, and there was one scene that I actually like cried. And the first scene was the scene where he was opening up his mom's chocolate bar and like started sharing it with everyone. Like just like that whole scene, like that whole sequence of events, and like the whole theme of like that and like him kind of like seeing his mom, you know what I mean, in the
Yeah.
crowd, and because he was just like imagining that, but like he that just him like that whole thing made me cry just because I thought it was just like really like just really well like put together and just like really summed up like the whole movie, and it had just you gotta love like life moral lessons and stuff.
Yeah.
um and the scene that made me tear up was when Noodle reunited with her mom, because specifically because like I thought it was sweet that she got to see her mom again, but also because it was closure for Willy Wonka, like because he never got to reunite with his mom. So I just like was like, oh, that's like really sweet. Just like, bittersweet, type of a thing.
Last thing I'll say about Wonka, the budget was about 120 million. It's made 177 million so far. I'm gonna sneeze. Hold on.
Oh yeah, another scene I also really liked too was the scene where
I was
he was
still
like,
talking.
oh, okay, my bad. Continue with
Yeah.
your numbers.
Yeah. 120 million was the budget. 170 is what it's made so far. So no doubt will this movie at least break even, and you know,
Yeah,
releasing it around holiday time um will definitely help it in the long run
for
because
sure.
those movies generally have the best legs, I would say.
Now let's actually get to the food part of the episode, which is what this podcast is about. So you said, Jamin, that you didn't have a chance to get it, and you didn't really want to because you
Money.
just, yeah. Me and my family went to IHOP after the movie because we knew that they had a special Wonka themed menu. And I'm actually really glad that the movie was good because it would have been really awkward like going to IHOP after the movie, and it's like, okay, I mean, this will be cool, but whatever. But no, the movie was great, so we went after, and I don't know if Jamin, you can like pull up a picture of like the menu items,
I can
just
put
so
it
like
up on the screen when I edit it.
well, yeah, just so everybody knows what I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
they had like pancakes with like purple like cream all over it, and then like hot chocolate. Um, they had like a lemonade, like a purple lemonade with like purple cotton candy they put on top. And they also had like chocolate pancake tacos with like marshmallows and strawberries in it. Um, I actually only got 4 out of the 5 items that were unique there. I tried those 4 things, and there was a fifth one I didn't try, which was like a cheesecake biscuit something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but that also had like the purple cream on it, which is they said it was supposed to be strawberry flavor. It kind of just tasted to me like berry, just like a berry general berry flavor. It was good. Um, but the pancakes were good. They were like really sugary though, like super, super like you could eat like just like a short stack of those and like you'll be good for like weeks. Those things fill you up. My favorite item was the hot chocolate by far.
Yeah, when you sent that picture to me,
Oh yeah.
I was like, all right, I might have to try because I have the taste for it. I think you sent it to me at like night, and I'm like, I'm not going at night.
Oh yeah,
But then
right.
I had like bought
They
stuff
they
like
sprinkled all that like gold dust all
the
over it
dust
and
on it. I'm
stuff.
just like, that's
But
good
the
marketing.
flavor was like it tasted like I was tasting something straight out of the movie, bro. It was like really good. Um and I think and the description was like the flavor of it was like strawberry chocolate. Like it was a strawberry chocolate hot chocolate, which is like why aren't more people doing that anyway?
You could probably buy
But it
some.
was what?
You could probably buy some.
Yeah, probably somewhere, but or you could just make it yourself. But no, yeah, but like that was really good. That was my favorite item there. My least favorite, like out of the 4 that I tried, probably the like chocolate pancake tacos. Not because they were bad, but just like I don't know. There's nothing like super unique about them. The pancakes, the lemonade, and this hot chocolate were the unique things because the 2 things had like the pancakes had like all the purple berry flavored stuff all over it. The hot chocolate, obviously, I think they might have used the same thing and like mixed it into the drink, but that was good. And the lemonade was like a purple, like really sweet tart flavor, and they put like purple cotton candy on top, and they drizzled like some frosting or cream like around the outside with sprinkles, and you'll know what I'm talking about, because you'll see it. Jamin has the picture up.
It would be
And
hilarious if I
that
was like no picture.
what
It would be hilarious if I was like no
Yeah,
picture.
right.
You're just
Like,
gonna have to
oh,
imagine it.
okay.
He's
Like
actually lying about this whole thing. If you look it
right.
up, it doesn't exist.
So that was like probably my second favorite was the lemonade. I thought that was really good. It was like really sweet and tart, and like you would like, I pushed the cotton candy into the drink and like mixed it around, like dissolved almost instantly, and that made it way more sweet. And it was actually really good. That was my experience. Thought it was good. I thought it was really good. And it was like the perfect thing to do right after the movie because like you're like you're riding off of that Wonka like high and you're like okay like yeah I'm in Wonka land, and then you got an IHOP and you have all this food and it's like oh yeah, then you go home and it's just like a good day, you know what I mean? You just felt like you just went somewhere like a different planet. But my parents liked it too, the movie and the food. um
Yeah, my dad gave Wonka like 5 out of 5.
Dang, so same as me, he really liked it.
Yeah, he said he was really good. Like I was surprised. Like it seems like I think Kyle was kind of on the same wavelength as me, where I was like, yeah, I thought it was really good. But my dad, he gave it like a 5 out of 5. So man.
Yeah, there's just some movies that are just really well made, and it's like you don't know why, but I think like for me, I was gonna comment on something you said earlier about like the rating and stuff. Because like for me, like when it comes to like games or movies and stuff, like when you rate like the 10 out of 10 and 5 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 stars, whatever, like there obviously is no perfect movie without flaws. So like
Iron Giant is
obviously,
perfect. I'm just saying.
okay, well, so except for Iron Giant is an exception, but like obviously there's no like perfect movies like without flaw, like nothing is without flaw, so like then nothing would ever get a perfect rating. So like I sometimes just give stuff like perfect ratings, like I said, like if you said if it just hits with you, like it hits a certain resonance, you know what I mean? But like I recognize that like everything has flaws, but if I just especially like it, I'll give it that. Because like obviously nothing's without flaw, but
Yeah.
except for Iron Giant. But I
Yep.
haven't seen it. I'm just taking James' word. I don't know, but
It is. It's perfect. There's not a
um,
single flaw in it at all.
okay.
Um, but yeah, I enjoyed it. You enjoyed it, but I want to know your thoughts on the movie. Yes, you, not you, but like you. Um, let me know in the comments. I think Spotify has a thing where you can type out like a message or whatever. Please do. No one has ever
Does it?
used it yet. It does, yeah.
Nice.
So let me know. Connor, you gotta watch this movie. Yeah, so that was kind of the reason why Connor wasn't. He just hasn't seen the movie. So it's like, well, I'm not gonna wait for him to like maybe see it one day. So I'm just like, all right, fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it while the movie is still hot and cooking. I'm gonna probably edit this tomorrow and release it on Monday or something.
Yeah, that's not what ended up happening.
One last thing that I also really like.
No,
I don't know how many people like picked up on it. I don't know if you did, but like how they made his hat look like it was made out of chocolate.
Yes, I
Like
actually
it
thought
didn't.
he
It
was
wasn't just
gonna.
like a leather brown leather hat. It was like it looked. It literally was like a chocolate hat.
I'm not gonna lie. When he lost all of his money, like in the early of the movie, I
Mhm.
thought he was gonna eat his hat.
Seriously.
He didn't have any other food. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you,
That was fire.
mystery viewer, for requesting to do this episode. But like I said, if it flops, it's on you. It's on you. No, okay. But
We will be holding you
we
accountable.
will be holding you accountable, and we're
Swear,
never gonna
man.
listen to you ever again, whoever you are. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. It sounds mad shady. I'm not. I'm not trying to throw shade. All
Okay,
right,
man.
we're gonna listen to the podcast. All right, have a good
All
one.
right. See ya.